Hey, distinction students, a perfect tutor here. So, poverty part 2, we finished the topic. Subtopics that we remained with: effects of poverty, poverty alleviation measures, and poverty reduction strategy paper. Those are the things we're going to look at in our video. Okay, so we start. Effects of poverty. Effects of poverty. 1. Hunger, food insecurity, high unemployment levels, people have no jobs, increase in crime, because you don't have food, you go and steal. See, so increase in crime, conflicts in society. People tend to fight for food now because of poverty, increase in corruption and vandalism. There is no employment. What do? You corrupt so that you get the job you need. Increase in dependence syndrome, low life expectancy due to low standard of living and other factors. Increase in prostitution, lack of access to basic needs like food, shelter, clean water, education, and health facilities. Breakdown of extended family system. Depletion of natural resources due to more people exploiting the same inadequate resources. Increase in child labor. These are the effects of what? Poverty. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Now, how can we get rid of this poverty? Let us talk about poverty alleviation. So, poverty alleviation is the process of lessening the suffering of the poor by meeting their immediate pressing needs. Lessening, depleting, like decreasing. So, some of the way through which poverty can be alleviated include these as listed below. 1. Improve the provision of education, because education is a very powerful tool for poverty reduction. Education is very important. So when we improve the provision of education, we can alleviate poverty in our country, Zambia. Poverty can be alleviated because some of the people don't even know how to do businesses. These businesses which require some knowledge, they can't do it because they haven't been to school, or the education they got was not that effective. So you see, education is a very powerful tool. Then increase food production and empower small-scale farmers. Empower small-scale farmers. Give them the farming inputs. They start farming. That's where food production will come from, actually. That's where we get our food. Now the problem is, when you forget about farmers, then everything will be dismantled in the country. Improve the health status of people in Zambia, especially the poor. Health status must be improved. Reduce the incidence, infection, and socioeconomic impact of HIV and AIDS. HIV brings about poverty. So when you try to get rid of poverty, you need to fight this thing called HIV and AIDS, because it is capable of killing both parents at the same time and leave children as orphans. Hence, poverty has entered that family. You see? So HIV and AIDS is very dangerous. So when you try to get rid of HIV and AIDS, definitely poverty will be alleviated. Increase access to safe water and sanitation. Access to safe water. Because we said poverty, especially absolute poverty, this is a condition where you lack basic needs, such as water. Water is among the basic needs. So when we improve access to safe water, not people are just getting water from streams which are even unsafe, the health status of the people will be affected if we don't have what? Safe water. So we should try to provide safe water. That's why you see the government making things like boreholes They try to provide what? Safe water. They are alleviating poverty. It's a long process. You can't just alleviate poverty at once. Poverty alleviated. No. It's a long process. It's a long process. So when we aim at let us reduce poverty, there are many aspects that are involved, many things that you're supposed to do. Increase access to skills development and vocational training. People should not just be doing things without being trained. At least you give them some skills. For example, a person is just doing a small business. Impart some knowledge in that person. Knowledge of saving, so that he or she can have that skill of carrying out that certain business, so that it can be paying, or it can become more like a source of employment for that person, source of income. He or she will be getting what? Monies to support himself with the family and the such. So we need to be imparting skills and vocational training, knowledge in the people doing businesses and other things that bring development to the country, thereby alleviating what? Poverty. We are lessening the suffering of the poor. Increase access to means of production, such as land and farming implements. They say fertilizers will be given to farmers in July. In July. Imagine they give them in July, they start preparing land. Actually, they will do things as required. They will do things as required. Now, imagine you give them in January. That's when you're giving them farming inputs. Where will they take them to? So that disturbs farmers. It disturbs farmers. They totally become disturbed, such that their farming system is affected as well. During harvest, they'll harvest less than what they expected, because fertilizers were not given in time. That was poverty alleviation, lessening the suffering of the poor people. Poverty alleviation. Now, here is poverty reduction strategy paper. What is this thing? It's the overall framework for national planning and development, focusing on international for poverty reduction. Sorry, not international, intervention. So it's like, this is the thing called a framework where the country plans to intervene for poverty reduction. The country, or the nation, let me say, intervenes in poverty reduction. This is what we call poverty reduction strategy paper. Because as the country, Zambia is a developing country, we know. So there is poverty here. There is poverty. Now, what is the government doing for it to alleviate the poverty? This is what we're calling what? Poverty reduction strategy paper. Planned by the government. They have got a framework. So the areas addressed by this paper include the macroeconomics. The macroeconomics. For the macroeconomics, the government plans to achieve a high and sustained real GDP growth, greater equity of opportunity, income and access to resources. Income and access to resources. Apart from that, they also plan to touch the agricultural sector. Agriculture. To promote a self-sustaining export-led agricultural sector, which ensures increased household income and food security. Once they touch this one, poverty can be alleviated. This one is very important, agriculture. So, agriculture should be bringing household income. Farmers must be able to benefit, must be able to get an income to use for their consumption from agriculture. And food security. Then apart from that, agriculture, we should be exporting the commodities. from the same agricultural sector, supporting farmers or those households, and then at the end we should remain with surplus products to export to other countries. When we start exporting, we are alleviating poverty, slowly alleviating what? Poverty. Not just using the crops, the commodities, the produce for the what? For consumption. Farmers just use those things for consumption. They just eat. Nothing is benefiting the country there. They're just benefiting themselves. But we should empower them so that we are remaining with a surplus to export to other countries as well, so that we are earning the income for the nation, income for the country. That's revenue. Then tourism. Tourism is very important. So they plan to enhance the tourism sector's contribution to economic growth and poverty reduction. Tourism. People bring a lot of money just to visit our sites, just to visit those things. So when they empower this one, they boost it. The sector, the tourism sector contribution to economic growth will lead to poverty reduction. The tourism sector's contribution, we're talking about its contribution to economic growth will lead to poverty reduction, because that money just come without us paying anything. We have the sites, they just visit them. They just visit the Victoria Falls, they pay us man. They just visit this, they pay us man. So we don't put any capital there. It's just them bringing the man. Tourism is very important. Apart from those three, we have mining as well. In mining, they plan to promote investment in the mining industry and ensure the development of self-sustaining mineral-based industry. Mining is very important. So they also plan to promote investment in the mining industry. They should invest some money in the mining. In the industry as well, promote growth of an export-led industry leading to employment creation and poverty reduction. Growth of an export-led industry. We should be producing enough products to export. That will lead to employment creation, because when we have more things being produced, for example, here they are producing chunks, there they are producing chan, there they are manufacturing buckets, there they are manufacturing different things to mention, but a few different things to mention, but here they are manufacturing this. So that will create employment for youths, not just for youths, but for everyone, because they will need more workforce there. They will need manpower. People will be employed. So it is. So that will reduce poverty. Health. To improve the health status of the people of Zambia. Education. To provide relevant, equitable, efficient, and quality education for all. This one is very important. HIV and AIDS. They also plan to touch the HIV and AIDS to reduce the incidence, infection, and socio-economic impact of HIV and AIDS. Then gender. To promote gender balance to ease the burden of poverty, especially for women at the household, community, and national levels. So they should also promote what? Gender balance between men and women. Even when employing, recruiting, not because this is a man, this is a woman. No. There should be equality among those people. Equality, gender equality. These are the things That's in the poverty reduction strategy paper. These are the areas addressed by this strategy. Like I said, here is poverty alleviation. How can we alleviate poverty? How can we lessen the suffering of the poor people? Now, this one is the plan by the country, by the government now, to lessen the suffering of the poor people. That's what we're calling the poverty reduction strategy paper. Apart from that, there is also environment. Environment, a plan to formulate appropriate policies on the protection of the environment. Management and development of natural resources ensure there is efficient and effective delivery. The environment is a very important thing. Energy, to ensure optimum supply and utilization of energy. Talking about power here, ZESCO. Then water and sanitation, to contribute to poverty reduction through increased access to safe water and sanitation, increased food production, and increased food security. Increased food security. Remember, this one was there on the poverty alleviation measures. How can you alleviate poverty? It was there. So it's good that it is even there in the poverty reduction strategy paper. Transport and communication, to create an efficient transport and communication system that will promote economic growth and poverty reduction. This will include constructing roads. Transport and communication, constructing roads, so as to expand, rehabilitate, that will lead to constructing roads. So these are things which are in the poverty reduction strategy paper. Poverty reduction strategy paper. Things addressed by the government, or the plan by the government or the nation at large to intervene in poverty reduction. These are the areas addressed by the poverty reduction strategy paper. Macroeconomics, agriculture, tourism, mining, industry, health, education, HIV and AIDS, gender. Apart from gender, we also have environment, energy, water and sanitation, transport and communication facilities, then roads. So these things will be considered, or in fact they are even being considered, because the government is trying to reduce poverty. That's why you see the government constructing roads. They try to improve the transport and communication system for the country, thereby reducing poverty. Because when they construct roads, transport fare will be reduced, thereby reducing poverty. Because even a poor person can just come to Lusaka, maybe from Central Province. He or she can just pay 50 kwacha. They are here. Now I don't know if they are paying a 500 kwacha. How can you do business like that? Just transport is 500 kwacha. Now the capital, because that's their capital. So when they construct roads, they improve transport and communication system, actually poverty can be reduced. Now, you try these questions at your own free time. What is poverty? Show how the following contribute to poverty in Zambia. 1. Debt burden, climate variation, low wages and salaries. Then 3. Discuss the effects of poverty. 4. Mention some of the causes of poverty in Zambia. Try yourself. Try and see if you have understood anything from the videos, because the topic is done. Poverty is done. It's just a simple topic. It's very short, so it's done. Thank you. See you next time.